Good day, everyone. We are the group 3. I am Anabella Laguna, and I'm with my partner, CHORLHITS DAGATAN today to discuss about Lesson 4, the Filipino Way.
Hello everyone, this is Charles Dagatan from TCM1K3, and what to expect in this topic is that we will look into the qualities of the Filipino moral identity and evaluate elements that need to be changed. We have to learn too about the strengths and weaknesses of some Filipino moral traits. Qualities of the Filipino moral identity. The Filipino culture is a mix of both Eastern and Western cultures. The beliefs and traditions of pre-colonial Philippines was mainly indigenous Malay heritage. Then the Spanish colonized the islands and the Hispanic culture influenced the natives. In return, the Americans shaped the modern Filipino culture, and this is primarily manifested by the wide use of the English language in the Philippines today. It was from these influences that formed the Filipino character. The brief occupation of the British 1962 1762 to 1764, and the Japanese 1942 to 1945, however, had no cultural influence of the Philippines at all. Psychologist, educator, and former chairperson of the Commission on Higher Education, Dr. Patricia Bilic Tuanan, wrote the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character are rooted in the factors such as number one, we have the home environment. Number two is we have the social environment. 3. Culture and language. 4 is we have history. 5. The educational system. 6 is we have religion. 7. The economic environment. 8. The political environment. 9. Mass media. And lastly is leadership and role models.
Liquanen said that in a home environment, Filipino children are taught to value family and give it primary importance. The Filipino social environment is characterized by depending on one another to survive. This dependence on relationships and the struggle for survival make Filipinos group oriented. Meanwhile, Filipino culture and language depict openness to foreign elements with no basic consciousness of our cultural core. The Filipino colonial mentality, such as the importance of the English language in our educational system, the wider following of Hollywood movies, foreign soap operas or TV shows, the foreign songs or singers, over Filipino movies, shows, and music is a manifestation of our attachment to foreign elements. Liquanen added that our colonial history is regarded as the culprit behind our colonial mentality. Unfortunately, most Filipino elite are no help in setting an example of overcoming colonial mentality because they are even more westernized in their ways. Present day media, on the other hand, reinforce these colonial influences. The Philippine educational system is also instrumental in molding the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. Schools are highly authoritarian. Early on, children learn that well behaved and obedient students are praised and rewarded. This teaches passivity and conformity. The Filipino is also religious. Religion taught us optimism and resilience. However, it also instilled in us a fatalistic attitude. Since our religious communities are also highly authoritarian, this further reinforced our being passive and conformist. Several Filipino traits are rooted in our economic environment. The hard life drove Filipinos to work hard and take risks, such as leaving our family to work abroad. This further developed our ability to survive. Unfortunately, our political environment and government structures and systems are fraught with problems. Meanwhile, how did mass media reinforce our colonial mentality? What did you notice with the ads, the musics, movies, fashion, etc., shown on TV, aired over the radio, printed in the newspapers or magazines, or viral videos online? These were greatly based on American pop culture. The emphasis on the superiority of an important brand or product through mass media is, in fact, part of a Filipino's daily life. Filipinos highly respected authority. We lean on our leaders and role models. Any person with authority is looked up to. Thus, when our leaders violate the law and when there is lack of accountability for leaders who break the law, the Filipino mindset is hugely affected in a negative way.
Now, let's proceed to the strengths of the Filipino character. So, muna siya ang pinaka-common nga nasa tua. So, we have number 1, pakikipagkapwa-tao. Number 2, family orientation. Number 3, joy and humor. Number 4, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Number 5 is we have hard work and industry. Number 6 is faith and religiosity. Number 7 is we have ability to survive. So, now let's start first with the pakikipagkapwa-tao. So, pakikipagkapwa-tao is demonstrated in the Filipinos' openness, helpfulness, and generosity in the practice of bayanihan or mutual assistance and the famous Filipino hospitality. Let's proceed. Number 2 is we have family orientation. Filipinos also possesses a genuine love for a family. This love is not just for one spouse and children but also to parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, even very distant ones, and even to ceremonial relatives. This love is shown enough, giving honor and respect to parents and elders, care for the children, generosity towards kin, and the personal sacrifices that a Filipino endures for the welfare of the family. This strong family orientation gives Filipinos a sense of belonging and security. Number 3 is we have joy and humor. Filipinos are also cheerful and fun-loving. Our various festas and social gatherings demonstrate the Filipino joy and humor. We can laugh at those we love and hate and make jokes about our good or bad fortune. Even in the most trying times, Filipinos will always find a reason to smile or laugh. This pleasant disposition contributed to our ability to overcome life challenges. We have number 4 is flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Filipinos are also tremendous in adjusting and adapting to any circumstances. We can improvise and make use of whatever it is hand to create and produce. Our flexibility, adaptability, and creativity are reasons why many Filipinos thrive in various parts of the world. Number 5 rather is we have hard work and industry. Filipinos also value hard work and industry. This trait is most noticeable in our willingness to take risks and work in the other country. Faith and religiosity. Filipinos also value faith and religiosity. This can be related to our bahala na mindset. There is actually a positive side to this fatalistic trait. For Filipinos, the bahala na attitude could serve as a kickstarter or a pampalakas loob to move him or her into action. Number 7 is we have ability to survive. All these positive Filipino traits mentioned contributed to our ability to survive is the salawikain or proverb. Matutong mamaluktot habang maikli ang kumot. Apply depicts our survival instinct. We can endure, make do, and get by on a so little while looking forward to the coming of better days. This trait is the reason why Filipino continues to carry on every through our harsh economic and social circumstances.
Now, let's move to weaknesses of the Filipino character. Weaknesses of the Filipino character, aside from identifying the roots and strengths of the Filipino character, Dr. Patricia B. Liquanan also pointed out our weaknesses. This is important because this enables the Filipino to identify the areas that needed improvement in order to grow and develop as a person. An informed and improved Filipino will also result in a stronger and more progressive nation. Generally, these weaknesses are extreme personalism, 2. Extreme family-centeredness, 3. Lack of discipline, 4. Passivity and lack of initiative, 5. Colonial mentality, 6. Kanya-kanya syndrome, 7. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. Liquanan noted that Filipinos function in the world by personally relating to things, events, and people. We find it difficult to separate objective tasks and emotional involvement. This is where the palakasan system springs from. Filipinos want to get special treatment and will always look for inside connections in most. if not all, of his or her transactions. For example, family and friends are given preference in hiring, in the delivery of services, and even in voting. Since personal contacts are involved, requests of this nature also become difficult to turn down. First on the list is extreme personalism. Extreme personalism is another element that led to the prevalence of graft and corruption in the country. Second one is extreme family centeredness. The family may be a source of strength for Filipinos, but extreme family centeredness is also his or her flaw. Family is valued above anything and everyone else. Thus, concern for the rest of the community and for the common good is less important. Extreme family centeredness is manifested in our political system where political dynasties lord over our elected government posts, starting from the barangay level all the way up to the national positions. Third one is the lack of discipline. The Filipinos' lack of discipline is characterized by our idiomatic expression, ninang skugon. Projects start out with a full enthusiasm and interest, but no sooner was it started that the enthusiasm and interest just as soon died. Another related characteristic is Filipino time. Filipino are known to be always late. We arrive late or we start late. Since global trends strictly followed schedules, this trait that disregard the importance of time is adversely affecting Filipino productivity. The fourth one is passivity and lack of initiative. Filipinos have very high respect for authority. Unfortunately, this also led to general passivity and lacking initiative. For instance, there is a strong reliance on leaders and government to solve the nation's problem, but ordinarily Filipinos also do not feel the need to initiate or contribute to the solution. This trait is also related to our lack of discipline. Look at our traffic problem. We expect the government to solve the monstrous traffic jam, yet traffic rules and regulation are also blatantly ignored every day. The fifth one is colonial mentality. Generally, Filipinos love anything foreign. Foreign elements are adopted and incorporated into our image. In the process, we are also losing our cultural identity. Liquana noted that this colonial mentality is connected to our general feelings of inferiority, where we think foreigners, especially Westerns, are superior. The sixth one is the Kanya-Kanya syndrome. The Kanya-Kanya syndrome is related to the Filipino traits of extreme personalism and extreme family-centeredness. Personal and in-group interests are supreme, and the drive to fulfill this interest is completely insensitive to the common good. The Kanya-Kanya syndrome damped our sense of community and cooperation, and we trample on each other's right as a result. The expression crab mentality, where we tend to pull others down to climb up, exemplify the Kanya-Kanya syndrome. And seven is the lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. Dr. Liquanan further observed that the joyful and fun-loving Filipino also has the tendency to be superficial and somewhat flighty. This means that in times of crisis, either personal or social, there is a general lack of analysis and reflection. A manifestation of this lack of self-analysis and self-reflection is the expression that Filipinos are madaling makalimot or have a short memory. This means as a nation, we easily forget the mistake we made. Hence, we make the same mistakes again. This is one reason why traditional politicians or trapos are always re-elected into office.
The Filipino character is a contradiction. For example, our bayanihan culture coexists comfortably with our kanya-kanya syndrome. Many of our strong points, in fact, are linked to our weaknesses. Despite these weaknesses, however, there is still much good in Filipino character. What is important is that we know our values as a nation because this help us grow and develop. We need to understand our character as a Filipino because this is the first step towards creating the future we want as an individual and as a nation.
And that is all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something today.